Welcome to the show. It's deep with the twist. We're laughing through the scriptures where humor coexists. Cultural, come on and take a seat. It's faithful and it's fun wherever it meets feet. Dive into the stories, hear the podcast call. It's more mixed stuff with a smile in the cultural hall.
It is time for another episode of the Cultural Hall and Articles of News episode. Still for me on my docket today, I am recording an interview episode and a temple ticker, so it is Cultural Hall
Wow.
Pajama Pant Day in my household at the home studio, joined by Verlin the News Wizard, Molly the Ash Ashton. I think going to get stuck out of the country. She hasn't spent enough days in the United States this year. So that is my my bet. That is my thing.
It's just going to change her taxation profile.
Is
That's
that how
all.
it works? Is it
That's
just
how it works.
taxation?
Yeah, I think
She
so.
doesn't have to pay it because without representation, right?
Exactly.
Right,
Exactly.
right.
As long as she doesn't then travel someplace again and get arrested for
Okay,
not paying
okay.
taxes there.
Okay.
Where is she spending all of her time?
Oh, she's in Europe somewhere. I don't know.
Okay.
We'll hear about it when she comes back.
I'm sure we will.
Much to the chagrin of Kirk.
Sorry, Kirk.
Yeah, no, it's all right. Other people say Kirk's up in the night. So whether he's up in the
Yeah.
night or he's halfway up in the night. Speaking of the moon, do you believe in the moon stuff and sleeping?
I don't know what moon stuff and sleeping you're talking
Like when
about.
it's a full moon and you just sleep bad? Because
I've never noticed that myself. No,
Yeah.
but
No.
but
I,
perhaps.
My brother's gone in off the deep end. He doesn't listen to this, so I'm fine to talk about him. Off the deep end, as far as like, you know, he's doing a cleanse in the first lunar of the this, and I'm like, okay.
Oh, I'm not sure that's off the deep end. I thought you were going to say the moon is an artificial space station created by,
No.
some alien
I mean,
species off the
No,
deep
that
end.
is what it is. No,
Oh, okay.
no,
As
but
long
like
as we're
I
clear.
always notice during the full moon cycle, don't sleep as good. I don't sleep.
I'm going to have to start paying attention to that. I love a full moon. I think it's beautiful.
Well,
but,
sure.
But yeah, we'll see.
I love both the literal full moon and the entendre of a full moon. I'll take either whenever I can get them.
The entendre of a full moon.
Yeah.
I'm not sure exactly what you mean by that.
Well, hold on. I'll show you. If you're watching on YouTube, get ready. You're about to see.
Oh, I know that full moon. Okay.
Yeah, that's all I was saying.
The
entendre,
practical
the double
joke
meaning.
of a full.
Yeah.
The entendre. Okay.
Right?
Okay. Sure.
Entendre.
I don't know.
'cause
I'm
it's
not sure. I'm not sure you know what entendre means, but that's okay.
Maybe I don't. Maybe I don't know. Like it's a meaning.
I'm quoting
of
for the Princess Bride now. That's terrible.
I don't know that word means what you think it means.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's right.
Like innuendo, right? Entendre.
Innuendo. Okay. Entendre. I'm trying to think.
Because a double entendre is
It's a-
double meaning. So
It's a
full
double
moon,
meaning. An
a
entendre is
literal-
a suggested meaning, I think.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah,
So if it's a double entendre, it's double suggestions.
Here we go. Are either one of us English majors?
Etymology of entendre. Hold on. AI is going to help me out here. Entendre.
We're gonna start wondering: is it Richie that's actually on video here on YouTube, or is this an AI generated actor that's generating royalties for you somehow?
The word entendre comes from the Latin verb intendere, which means to stretch out or to direct toward. The meaning shifted over time to direct one's attention. So entendre, yeah, you're right. It's a wrong word. Innuendo would have worked better.
It was a good guess. It was a good
Yeah,
guess.
listen.
I appreciate the
double
effort.
Entendre,
Yeah.
double
The Lord
meaning.
loves effort. The
Yes.
Lord's effort. The Lord
Yes.
loves effort.
I'm not a stupid person. I just do stupid things. That's how God looks at me and then pats me on the head. He's like, you're not inherently dumb.
I'm guessing there's a large majority of us he thinks about that way and
Yeah.
pats on the head. Yep.
Yeah, bless your sweetheart. I think I like to think of God saying sometimes.
Yes.
I also like to think of
Are
him
you saying
sometimes-
God is a Southern woman? Is that what
Yes.
you're saying?
And- yeah, because he doesn't want to be rude. He doesn't want to be rude.
Bless
But the
your heart.
But the bless your heart is
the
is
perfect
essentially-
backhanded compliment. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
bless your heart. Yeah, and pulls you aside and just goes, "What are we doing here?" That's what I sort of wish, as part of the repentance process goes, because so much of it is kind of left up to our own devices a little bit, where it's like, yeah, okay, there's the really egregious ones that we feel like we need to talk to someone with, and some people would argue whether or not that's really the way to go about it. But there's like those middle things where I
Mhm.
wish that it would just be like, hey, Verlin, let's have a talk for a minute. And he just kind of pulls you around and goes, hey, was that the best thing? Are we sure? Is this how you want to show up, Verlin? Is
Well,
this?
not to get into too much detail, but he's done that for me several times.
Oh,
And
yeah?
it usually comes at the hands of somebody else
Oh.
who says, maybe you've crossed the line, or do you
Ooh.
think that's really what we should be doing?
Oh,
Right.
geez.
And that's Susan is pretty good at doing that in certain circumstances. And the Lord's been really good at sending me down paths that kind of like Elder Holland talked about,
Mhm.
become dead ends very quickly because I've over rotated or over focused on something.
Yeah, you've said, yeah, this is going to be the, oh, nope. This was not
Nope.
the thing. This was not the thing I thought it was. Shoot.
Yep.
Yeah.
Been there a couple of times. Professionally, personally, spiritually, it's happened multiple ways.
Do you do the fun thing that I do, which is like, no, I just got to keep going a little bit. I just
Yes,
gotta
of
keep
course.
going. No, I know
No,
this doesn't make any sense.
I'm a hit the gas kind of guy, right?
Yeah.
So wait, I'm starting to get stuck. Just hit the gas a little
Yeah, just,
harder. Yeah,
yeah,
speed
come
will
on.
make
That's
up
how
for
you
it
get
all.
out.
Yeah, yeah.
You mentioned Susan. You are recording, if you can see the backdrop of where Verlin's at. He is just in the room outside the Sacred Grove in upstate New York. A grove of trees behind you. Is that your backyard? Your kid's backyard? Where are you?
This is my son's backyard.
Okay.
Yep. Their
Gorgeous.
beautiful house in Cary, North Carolina. It
Okay.
does look gorgeous back there. It's nice.
You're still with them, which means you are homeless.
We are still homeless.
Okay.
The house continues to go.
Mhm.
We're picking out garage doors. Cabinetry is supposed to go in soon. Electrician is finishing up this week. Ready for inspections before they put sheetrock on.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That seems like that's going. I mean, you would be like, no, that's not at all how it's been, but mostly without incident.
Yes, I would agree. I think we've been pretty blessed through the whole
Yeah.
process.
Yeah.
And the builder says we're still on track for mid-November. Susan is starting to doubt him, but
Mhm.
we'll see what happens.
Well, doubting Susan. We all know about a doubting Susan. So that means Thanksgiving is on. I'll get in the car and start driving that way now.
Well, yes, exactly.
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
plan. If you want to join us for Thanksgiving, you are more than welcome.
I would love one time. I won't. Don't worry about it. Because I can't commit. I can't even commit.
I would
to the
love it.
time
I've
that
showed
we're
up at
gonna
your house a
record.
few times now. I think Jessica's tired of seeing me.
Yeah. Wait. Well, no. I said yeah. A little too well. Yeah. But I would love to just pop into your house and be like, "Hey, Verlin, are you home?" And you're like, "Yes."
That
That's
would be
the thing that
awesome.
we've arranged. I know.
I'd say, hey, let's go on a little excursion. I'd take you to the best BLT place in the world. That's
And
just 15 minutes from my house.
and I would eat your BLT.
Wonderful. And I'll be out. I'll be out there. I'll be out there starting next Saturday. This coming Saturday, actually.
Yeah. As we record less than a
Yeah.
week. And they're doing one of the sports big things for the Holy War, the BYU Utah game.
Yes. Yes. I will be there.
I thought of you as I channeled my I almost care gene within my body when I stayed and watched the second overtime of the BYU
Oh my
game
gosh.
the other night.
I was there with you.
Yeah.
I was there with you, except 2 hours later here.
Yes. Yeah. Interesting way they do the overtime sports. Glad that we won. Felt like we would. There was a lot of like things that I saw where it's like we never doubted, and it's like, did you doubt when you were down by a lot? Because I felt like you should have.
We were
there.
down 10.
Yeah.
I was doubting. Yep.
But
It forced me to stay awake for the whole game. There was no chance to fall asleep during that thing.
and then afterwards, nearly impossible to fall asleep.
Yeah. I sat in bed and just listened to the post-game show until I fell asleep. Yep.
Yeah. So you'll be in town, and exciting because we had mentioned this before. But this is an announcement. Trumpets.
We don't have the news announcement music to hit in the background.
I was playing it with my mouth just then. We are going to be doing a live cultural hall recording. It will be, let me make sure I get this right. It will be Thursday, the 23rd of October.
Is Thursday the 23rd?
Yes.
Awesome.
Thursday, the
Okay.
23rd of October. The recording will begin in or around 2 o'clock.
Beautiful.
2 p.m. And you're thinking, are we going to the Homesteadman? What's happening? Where is this, going to, etc.? It will be, drum roll, please, on your own
Dun,
laps.
dun, 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 dun.
The folks at Chuckarama have said, hey, come on down to the Chuckarama. We are going to do a live show from the Salt Lake City Chuckarama.
I cannot think of a better location for the cultural hall to have a live audience event.
It's going to be incredible, and I hope that you'll join us. So here's the few things that you need to know about it. One, if you decide to join us, it will be like 2 p.m. and may go as long as 5 p.m. ish.
Yep.
if we're really going to go that long, or maybe we'll record and then we'll just sit and visit, or we'll sit and visit and then we'll record, or however that may be. But 2 p.m. is the air quotes start time. The other thing that I would say is that it does cost money to be able to
It's
attend.
Chuckarama, so
Yeah,
yes, I would
yeah,
assume so.
but it's an all you can eat, and we're going to be there for a while. And
All
they
you
have
can eat and all
all,
you can drink. Yeah.
yeah, it comes as part of it. So if you are
Soft
a
serve
soda
too.
fiend, oh yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, so I was trying to get like this is the price that it's going to be, but they do so many things for so many different groups that nearly impossible to be like, hey, this, I can promise you it will be $20 or less.
Right.
And I'm not skimming any of that off the top.
Nope.
That's
There's
just for
no
Chuckarama.
fee coming to
Yeah.
the cultural hall.
Yeah.
It's pay Chuckarama, and they've willingly and generously hosting us for this event.
Yes. And limited seating because we're in a room so that we can block it off for sound. So I'll probably bring 3 or 4 microphones so that we can be able to have some guests come on. We may invite guests. We may have you be the guest. You may do the thing. If you think about it, send me an email, contact@theculturalhall.com, and let me know that you're coming. I know you, Verlin, are coming.
I
But
am.
you, that is the collective you, if you think hey, yeah, we're going to come, we're going to make an effort to come, send me an email just so we know about how many people. I told them, I have no idea. We've done this one time before, and it was probably a decade plus ago. We did it at a place called Sammy's Pie Shakes, where they used to take a piece of pie and they would blend it into a shake.
Ah.
But we haven't done one of these since. So, Chuckarama, Thursday, October 23rd, 2025, 2 p.m. is
And
when
which location of Chuckarama? Because I believe there are several in the Salt Lake
there
Valley,
are.
right?
Thank you for asking. It is the Salt Lake City one, which is like 4th South. I'm going to get the exact address here in a second. But I want to say it is 4th South and 744 East. 744 East, 400 South. Chuckarama, come and hang out with us. 2 p.m. till, I don't know. I have to leave at 5 because I've got a gig that night, but it's just up the road. So
Perfect.
2 at least until we don't want to be there anymore.
2 until 5 at the latest.
Yeah.
Because you've got a gig and I've got a gig that night too.
Yeah. What are you DJing a steak dance?
It's been a little while since I've done that. And I used to
you
enjoy
should.
doing that.
I think you
I
should.
loved it. Now I'm so out of touch with current music, it would be terrible. And I'm not sure steak dances are the thing to do anymore.
Yeah. It seems like, although in some areas, I can't remember who I was talking to most recently, they said the dance is still the big thing that is.
I think Chow was
ending.
saying that the dances were a thing
Yes.
that was working.
Yeah, that's right. But I know, like in Michigan, the night before the horrific tragedy there was a youth celebration, which, from what I'm gathering, it's just kind of everyone getting together, and sometimes they'll put a theme on it. But it's like games and food and fun, but it's not as stringent as you are at a dance, you will dance appropriately. Although I loved them. I loved them.
When I was a youth, it was one of my favorite things.
Mhm.
I can't remember missing a steak dance. I can remember one of the times I disappointed my father the most was over a regional dance.
Go on.
So it was New Year's Eve, and I said, my dad, there was a steak dance going on, and I told my father, I think I was 16 or 17, I said, I'd rather not go to the steak dance. He was Steak Young Men's president. I said, I'd rather go to the regional dance up at the Oakland Temple. There's a facility there, and I said, there's going to be, hundreds and 1,000 young people there. And he said, well, I'm not sure I want you driving, on New Year's Eve. There may be people that aren't driving responsibly on the road.
Sure.
But then he used the fatal statement of, but I'll leave it up to you and your judgment.
Yes.
So I thought for about 2.6 seconds and said, I'm going to the regional dance with Jim and Ray. And I don't think he talked to me for a couple of days after that.
Really?
My mom
Your
said he
dad
was quite
silenced?
upset. He was quite upset. Yeah.
Wow. Well,
So, but he's gotten over it now. He
hope
laughs
so.
about it now when it comes up.
I hope he's gotten over it now. Can you imagine if he hasn't? He's like, son, listen, I was going to leave you an inheritance, but
45 years later.
Yeah.
Yep, exactly.
remember that night? But we all make choices.
Oh,
That's
I'm sure
the
he
one that I
does.
made.
I'm sure he remembers.
Mine was my region dance New Year's Eve story. I remember her name was Sarah Skomolski. She
Oh,
married a friend of mine. I can't remember what her married name is now. But I found myself having a bit of a boyish crush on her. I was probably 14, 15 maybe.
Nice.
And
Nice. Crushes
and
are serious at 14
oh
and
my
15
gosh,
years
it
old.
was life ending, right?
My first heartbreak was at 14. My
Yeah.
gosh.
And then
Oh.
you realize once you've been through a divorce, it's like, man, that was nothing.
I guess I haven't done that yet,
Yeah,
so I'm not
well,
sure.
don't. I don't recommend it, especially at this point. Breaking all those things apart would not be as easy as it maybe was for me. I asked Sarah at the end so that we have the whole New Year's Eve dance, whatever.
Yeah.
And then I walk her up to the door because it was a carpool kind of thing. I was like, I had so much. This is great. It's so much
Oh,
fun.
I feel the
Whatever.
butterflies in my stomach already thinking
And
about
I
it.
said, hey, can I kiss you? Good night. And she said no and turned and walked right into her house. And I was devastated because you know what it was? A car full of my dude friends that are like, oh,
Ooh.
didn't get any. The worst. So embarrassing.
That's great.
But
That's great.
I mean, I guess kudos that she didn't, the lower principles or whatever the things are that you try and silver line something like that. But it was crushing because I was like, I think that if I would have tried, I think she would have reciprocated. But I think the fact that I asked made it either not romantic or, I don't know what the thing was. So,
Well, I'm going to make you feel better. You're not the
okay.
only person that made that particular mistake.
Uh-huh.
And my mom still reminds me of that mistake every once in a while because
Go on.
it was the daughter of one of her best friends that I asked her at the door, "Would you mind if I kissed you?" And she did almost the same thing.
Yeah. I mean, it's better. Who knows where my life would have been if I would have had self-esteem and confidence ever after that.
Wow, you're making me think now.
Well, okay. Join us Thursday, October 23rd, 2 p.m. Email me. You don't have to. It's not like an RSVP thing, though. I would like to
Invite
know
your
who's coming.
friends, invite
Yeah.
your relatives, bring friends along.
Yep. You may
Let's
see
make it a party.
you may see some folks from the Cultural Hall that you've not seen or heard from in a long time. I have no idea what to anticipate from this. So contact at theculturalhall.com. We will take a break. And when we come back in the second half, we have got actual articles of news. Let me take just a moment to tell you all about bestdjinutah.com. That is the website where you can learn all about me. Oh, sure, you probably feel like you know me, but you know me in the Cultural Hall sense. I have a DJ company now, 6 of us strong. Great event hosts, MCs, and DJs that can be able to make whatever event you have coming up absolutely spectacular, and hope you will reach out to us. Now you're thinking, well, wait a minute, Richie, I don't live in Utah. Would you travel? Absolutely, I would travel. Would they travel? Absolutely, they would travel. Whatever your event is, doesn't have to be a wedding or a community event. We can do all sorts of things. I can teach you line dancing. I can dance with you. We can do partner dancing. We can do all kinds of things, but we can't do any of it if you don't hit me up. You can go to bestdjinutah.com. You can fill out the form to get more information or get a quote, and then I will get right back to you. Find out why I'm so busy and why sometimes we don't get episodes of the Cultural Hall. It's all because of bestdjinutah.com. Here we go. In the second half of Articles of News, we will do actual articles of news. Here's the thing. Hit it, Peter.
You can't lose articles of news.
We have not actually discussed what we are going to talk about news-wise because, well, hasn't been a whole ton of news. We sort of delayed this recording thinking maybe we would have a new prophet of the Church of
Perhaps
Jesus
an
Christ of
announcement.
Latter-day Saints, and there's not yet.
We're setting
longer-
records. It hasn't been this long in over 75 years.
The longer this goes, the more I think they're going to go. Elder Oaks is going to be like, I'm good. And Elder Holland will be like, near death. And Elder Eyring will be like, hard pass.
Not me.
And then, you don't think?
No, I'm saying,
you're saying
that's
not-
what Elder
I got it.
Eyring will say.
Okay.
Yeah, not me.
Yeah, not
And who's
me.
next is the one I'm excited about.
Uchtdorf, right?
Elder Uchtdorf,
and
yeah.
And then they'll go too liberal, and then we'll pass it down to Elder Bednar, where it'll be for the rest of my life.
Oh, no.
You don't think?
I don't think. Nope.
But the longer it goes, it definitely does cause more people to question, are
It
they going to
does.
do something different?
It makes me wonder if the discussion is more about the new apostle
Okay.
versus who the new prophet is going to be.
Well, but two different things. They're not going to do them, I don't think, at the same time. I think
You don't think so?
No, nope, I don't.
Maybe that's what's causing the delay is they want to think about doing both at the same time.
I think they lead with the new story, which is the new
Okay.
prophet. And
Okay.
then even like I could even separating them out into three things being new prophet, great, new first presidency, a new story, and then the final story having a person of color in the 12 apostles that people go, all the work that President Nelson did and with his passing ushers in
A new era.
a new era for the
I think
church.
the
I'm
other
telling
thing
you.
the other thing they have to be concerned about is these guys are very busy. They're carrying the workload
Yes.
of an empty apostle position right now.
Yes.
And then with the failing health of, several of the others, that means even an additional workload. So I think they're going to want to fill that apostleship pretty quickly.
I also think as we go to like traditions of this, and I know that we probably couldn't have foreseen this, what with prophets being martyred, etc. But
Mm.
like, I think that we were like, yeah, life when life was like 60 because you got dysentery on the Oregon Trail and then, you didn't do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that there's a certain part of it that where now they look at it and to be clear, I think there are some major benefits from having someone who's able to look at an entire long lifespan and be able to lead from that
Absolutely.
viewpoint. And I think that there are some that were like, yeah, when I was 45, I thought this would be really great. And until I nearly died, it was really great. And now I think God's probably all right with it if I just pass this to someone else. And the church would be better in a lot of aspects for it.
I'm not sure. Number
Interesting.
one, I'm looking historically and thinking, is there any record of any prophet in the Old Testament, New Testament, Book of Mormon, of a prophet saying, "I'm done, someone else can pick it up"?
Oh, yeah. No,
The
no. The prophet, no, not the prophet,
Yeah.
but the apostleship,
Yeah,
sure. Which I know
apostles,
prophets are apostles
perhaps.
and blah, blah, blah,
Yeah,
blah, blah,
yeah,
blah. But also
perhaps.
the original 12 were killed. So let's,
They were.
they
Yeah.
weren't saying, "Hey, I could live to be 95 or go ahead and stone me." It was very much a thing where it was like, I don't really have the agency here.
Well, for the literalists, 95 is nothing compared to Adam and Noah.
Okay.
So, you know.
Thanks for that. Thanks for that. Gonna bring it back to literal. But I do still maintain that the longer it goes, the more conspiracy theories that I hear about online and see people posting, and
Oh,
I'm
of
here for it.
course.
I'm here
Yeah,
for it.
I love the entertainment of the conspiracy theories, but it's going to come back to the basics. I don't think there's going to be any big surprises in terms of the way things are handled. Who is called as the new apostle could be a big surprise, and we'll
Sure,
see.
sure.
My
Uh,
money's still on Bishop Causet. We'll see.
that's where you're at, huh?
Yep.
Okay, okay. See, and my guess, like I said again, I don't think it's Cosse this time. I think with the next person to pass, I think that's Cosse. I think that
Oh, okay.
I think that they'll go, and I hate to break it down like this, but I think that they'll go Black Apostle, European Apostle, and then Intermountain West White Guy Apostle will
Ah,
be the
okay.
next order of our apostles.
Perhaps.
Yeah,
Perhaps.
perhaps. And you know what? We don't know.
We don't know. Do you think anyone improved their apostleship stock in General Conference?
I think there were some great talks for sure.
There
Nothing
were.
that will affect the immediate apostleship. No.
I would agree.
Yeah.
I would agree.
All right. So what news do you have? I didn't send you anything, so I don't even know if you looked up news.
No, but let's talk a little bit about General Conference. We haven't
Okay.
talked since General
You
Conference.
and I have not.
We have not.
Mhm.
Were there any talks that, as you think about it now, have jumped out and kind of are talks that are going to stay in your mind for a while?
I think we will continue to hear about Elder Brown, Amos Brown. Is that his first name?
Elder Amos. Elder Amos.
Elder
Yeah.
Amos, and Elder Brown. That's right. I'm conflating the two.
Yep.
I think that we will continue to hear about the two of those. I think we will continue to hear about Elder Peter Johnson's talk and sort of
Yes.
his serving a mission and then finding out, wait, what?
Understanding the truth and how to deal with surprises, even when they are the truth. Yeah.
Sister Dennis, I think, one that
Yep.
I've heard talked about a bunch. A similar, though not race with her, but a similar kind of like, I'm serving and also, what am I doing? Kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
And then I've heard a lot about what people have relegated as like the softening of elder oaks a little
Hmm.
bit, between both the funeral talk that he gave and his final talk in General Conference, this being fall 2025, that seemed like there was we were getting sort of a different Elder Oaks, a softening, a less,
I would say
legalistic,
a
although still the
tempered.
same. Yeah.
I would say, using Elder Suarez's kind of theme from his talk, maybe a tempered Elder Oaks, which is not unheard of. I mean,
Yeah.
for those of us that lived through the pre-President Benson rumor mill, that how he was going to be as a prophet, and he was a little bit of that, but not a lot of that. Even President Kimball was quite different as prophet than he was as an apostle. And so it's not surprising that Elder Oaks will be. I personally, I loved his final talk. I loved that he took on the proclamation on the family and talked about it in a way that it hadn't been talked about in a while, and probably a way that people were surprised that he didn't talk about it in certain ways. And I think that's a good thing.
Yeah.
I think the other talk that's going to last a while is Sister Browning's talk
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure.
on music and using the hymns of the primary to teach doctrine. I thought that was wonderful.
Yeah, and all good. One of the things that I have heard more since this general conference or around this general conference that I hadn't heard before is the listening to the most recent talk from the prophet every day or with some weekly or daily regularity. I've heard that from multiple sources. Like
Oh,
at
that's
least
good.
a
I've
half a
only
dozen.
heard it from one source.
Yeah, and it's the same source that I heard it one of the times. But there
And
are
I think it's a brilliant idea.
Yeah.
I think it's a great idea. I'm not sure I'm disciplined enough to do it. I have a hard enough time listening to the talks regularly anyway. So I'm going to celebrate my victory there.
They do have, and something that I've kind of looked into that I want to do. So hopefully the who I want to be can align at least a little bit more with who I actually am. But I would like to, because they print out all the talks and you can buy them in like a journal or like a book format. I would
Right.
like to. I don't want to listen to the same talk every day. That seems sort of asinine to me. Like I
Now
like
tell
at
us how
some-
you really feel.
I know, right? Like at some point, I just think it's like, oh, I got it and I need to move on. And then I can come back and maybe there's a different perspective, but the same day
Right.
thing every day, there's something, I don't know. I
Different things
reject
for
that
different
some
people.
reason for me, right?
Yeah, different things for
Um,
different people.
But I do think from now until the next general conference, having my study be around all of the talks that were given at general conference, I think that there's something sort of beautifully orchestrated around that, right? Maybe there's 40
Yeah.
talks, but there's only 26 weeks, so I'm doing a talk every 5 days. Great. I want to study Sister Browning's talk for 5 days. That's great. I'm listening to it 5 times. I'm hearing the thing. I'm reflecting this. This was great. I feel like I got out of Sister Browning what Sister Browning's thing was. Sometimes I think we focus too much on one particular thing. It was a whole. It'd be like if you say, you're going to the Chuckarama for a cultural hall show, and all you get is Jello. It's great, and you keep going back for Jello, but they've also got those really great rolls and the soft serve ice cream and the all you can drink soda. You want all of the things.
That's right. That's right. How are you going to determine which talks are going to be used for the lessons you teach in your elders quorum?
They assign them to me, so I don't get to pick.
So the presidency picks.
Yeah, they say,
Okay.
"Are you going to be in town and at church?" And I say no, and then they say, "Well, then you won't teach this." And then when I have to trade because I know I'm going to be around, usually I say, "Yeah, hey, I'd like to teach this week because I know I'm going to be around," and they go, "Great." And then about halfway through the week, it dawns on me I don't know what I'm supposed to be preparing for. So the second follow-up message is, "Well, I mean, I
which
know
talk?"
already, but what one are we doing?"
Yeah, actually, I opened it up yesterday to quorum nominations. So I asked
Okay.
our quorum, after speaking with the rest of the presidency, I said, "Hey, would the rest of you be okay if I just opened it up to the quorum and we took nominations?" And they said, "Absolutely." So we'll give the quorum a week or two with nominations, and then we'll pick the talks that we use.
One of the things that I think is interesting about the fact that we study the talks, a couple of those talks, like if you're studying Elder Amos's talk or Elder Brown's talk, you're listening to it.
Mm-hmm.
50% of the power of that is not
Was the presentation,
yes,
right?
is not all right, brother, who's got number 1? fumble with the paper.
Paragraph number 12, now that
yeah.
the paragraphs are numbered.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. No, and we've talked about this. I'm not a big fan of using so much of the talk's content to begin with. I believe the theme, the spirit, the message is what opens the conversation. And let's have a real conversation about how this really works in our lives, applies in our lives, what we can change, what we can't change, those kinds of things. So we'll
You'll
do that.
appreciate this too. There have been a couple times when I've taught, because I'm mostly a teacher as far as callings go, but where I've said, who has listened to this talk or studied this at all remotely recently? And there have been 2 times in the times that I've taught that no one or like 2 people have raised their hands and said, yeah, I'm prepared for this lesson. And I look at it and I go, well, we got 45 minutes. The talk's 11. We're going to listen to it. Bloop. And then I sit down and we listen to it, because there's no sense of being like, what was
Yeah.
it that struck you about this if you didn't even allow
If you
yourself
haven't
to
really
be
done it.
struck?
No, I think that's smart. That's a good way to adapt to your specific circumstances. I like that.
And to get out of 10 minutes of teaching.
Well, there's that too.
Okay, so that's not a news story necessarily. Did we cover all of General Conference that you wanted?
Yeah, I think so. We did.
There is this story, fires. We talked about
We
certainly
did.
the fire at the church in Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
But there also has now been a fire that significantly damaged a meeting house of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in Te Hauk, maybe that's how you say it, near Hastings in Hawke's Bay region of New Zealand. Authorities are investigating the cause of the fire. Local congregation and leaders and members are devastated that their meeting house has been damaged. There is also
There was a
later that
fire
day-
there was a fire outside of Sydney, Australia, in a church as well. Correct.
Correct.
And
And also later last night, another fire at the Mont d'Or, New Caledonia building that has left significant damage. No reported injuries. Local church leaders are supporting investigations by authorities, as well as providing love and support to members of the church in New Caledonia. Elder Peter F. Mears, the Pacific area president of the church, where all of these except for the Michigan church is, said, quote, members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints joyfully worship in meeting houses across the Pacific and the world, deepening faith in Jesus Christ, fellowshipping with others, and organizing service to communities in which they live. These sacred spaces are places of gathering, singing, praying, and inspiration for over 600,000 members of the church in the Pacific area. Where there has been damage to meeting houses, church leaders will look at ways to help members and friends of the church to have a place to gather for worship and fellowship, continuing to strive to follow Jesus Christ, raise strong and united families, and continue to be good citizens and neighbors. And Elder Mears went on to say, please stop burning down our buildings. Stop it.
yeah, 1 or 2, but 3 in close succession like this could make one wonder. So
Well, it's obviously something, right? I
Yeah.
mean, it's enough of something that it's not nothing.
exactly.
Like Michigan, okay, Michigan's a whole different thing to itself. Australia, all right. And I don't even know that they said that the one in Australia is arson at this point. But to have these 2 same day, is it a dark web thing? Is it a certain organization that thinks, hey, these are people that, what's going on?
Or is it copycats? Right? Just
Yeah.
people that have copycat issues.
I won't understand it, because my extent of like being a horrible person like that is to be like, you say hello and I just mean mug you. Or
Yeah.
like I raise my fist when you get in front of me on the freeway and I go, yeah, is that the best move you could do? You feeling really good about yourself? Like that's the extent that I do. Maybe a keyboard warrior, but I just don't understand I have such disagreement with these people or that person or this group. What I'm going to do is go destroy something. I can't.
I
get
think
there.
that borders on a mental health issue when that happens. It has to.
Maybe.
No reasonable human would do that. It's someone who's unreasonable for some reason.
Yeah.
The other thing that grabbed me is on the church news website. I didn't realize that they were so into clickbait.
Go
but there's a
on.
headline there that's completely clickbait.
Go
Ringing,
on.
to quote, ringing true. After 177 years, a stolen bell returns home as a symbol of unity.
Yes.
So if you read this article, there was a Presbyterian church. Where are they located? Um,
Missouri.
in Iowa City,
Iowa.
and this church had a church bell, and there was some disagreement between the pastor of the church, and this is back in the 1800s, a disagreement between the pastor of the church and some financial arrangements. The pastor got fired. The church congregation said they couldn't pay him what was due, but they told him any assets that he could pick up and carry away, he was welcome to do that. And surprising to them, he took the church bell and stole that bell. Now he needed help doing it. He had some friends that evidently helped him and said that they sunk it in the river, and it turns out that they didn't do that. They kind of took it and actually sold it to the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
To the
And
Mormons.
to the Mormons. To the
Yeah,
Mormons.
that's when we were
Yes.
Mormons. Yep.
And so they sold it to the Mormons, and this bell has been sitting for the most part of the last 177 years at Temple Square, in a small building at Temple Square, where we all believed it was the Nauvoo Temple bell, but it in fact was not. It was the bell from this church in Iowa City. So someone started doing the research, figured out that this bell, which is known as the Hummer bell, because Mr. Hummer was the pastor
Okay.
that took the bell to begin with. They realized this was a bell that had long been missing from this Presbyterian church, and our church has now returned the bell to the rightful original owners, that Presbyterian church.
Walking us through the repentance process. Once we learned better, we had to do better by being
That's
able
right.
to return and repair, right? That's the R's. There's the bajillion R's of repentance. We have to restore, repair,
Oh, that's right. Make restitution.
restitution.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I thought the quote was great by the current pastor of this church. Pastor Willard invited his congregation to hear the bells ring, and a ring of call to unity. He said, in this world of division, what can we do to signal unity in Jesus Christ? We can ring that bell. We can make that bell ring across a century of time, calling different people to worship in the same place, and saying the most important thing for all of us is to remember that Jesus Christ was and is and will be.
And unfortunately, because of how my brain works, all I can think of is ring my bell, ring my
A
bell.
little disco. Yeah, you're being the DJ there. Yeah.
I literally
Was that Donna
as soon
Summer, right?
yeah, I want to say.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is literally where my brain goes, and then I just can't let it go until I say it out loud.
And a curious statement in this is that they confirm that the church, our church, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, did in fact use bells traditionally. When they first founded Salt Lake City, they used bells to call people to worship services and to alert people to things. And bells were a common sound, evidently, in the Salt Lake Valley in the early days of the church.
I like a good church bell. I'd love a church bell now.
I wish we would put them in the tops of our churches. I think that would be a wonderful thing.
I was a huge fan when it was your calling to go ring the little buzzer bell, like what you hear between the different parts of the Cultural Hall episodes.
Yes, exactly.
I'd take that calling again. Other things.
One of the comments made in general conference, I'm not sure, I can't recall you and Chow talking about it, was the number of new converts over the last several
we
years.
spoke about it.
Did you? Okay.
Yeah,
I must have,
900,000 in the last 36 months. As many as were in the church in the year 1940 or something like that.
That's right. That's right.
As many have joined in the last 3 years.
I can't wait until we get to the point where we're baptizing as many people a year as existed in the church when I went on my mission, which was about 5.5 million members.
Jeez. It's growing for sure. The thing that you always hear on the other side is it's not necessarily growing so much in the States as it is in places like Africa.
Yeah, but it's been that case for a long time with South America and Brazil and Chile and Argentina, and now that has shifted to Africa, and that's wonderful. And I estimate that the same kind of shift will happen again in 10 to 20 years to India and China when it does open.
Sure.
So
But then at some point, do we like, I mean, is it second coming time by the time we run out of places where we can have a resurgence? Or is it like, does it come back around? I don't know. I think that's sort of kind of an interesting thing. As we become the new thing in a new area, I think that there will always be that, yeah. But where it's been, I mean, United States Christianity, this sort of through line since the country was officially made a country, and then we've sort of been like, okay, well, we've done that.
a little bit, but I think early in the church's history, the church became principally a Canadian organization at one point, very early on. And then it became proven a UK organization, an English organization,
Sure.
where 90% of the people that lived in Salt Lake City had English accents at one point. And then there was a huge Scandinavian wave that followed that fairly close behind. So this is not something new in the church. We've seen these kind of waves again and again and again.
I'm sad about the no accents really in Utah.
Oh, there's lots of accents in Utah.
Yeah.
They're just very different accents now.
They're just-
My family and their Spanish Fork accents.
Yeah, Fark.
Yep.
On Monday and Tuesday, Wednesday
Yep. Get up on the rough.
on the rough. Milk. Have a glass of milk.
That is correct.
There is a story. This will be in the link in the show notes. Thelma Armstrong, one of the victims at the Grand Blanc. I don't know what we call it.
Grand Blanc, Michigan
Yeah.
Stake Center
Yeah, I just mean
event. Yeah.
tragedy. That doesn't seem to be the right word for it. But different and more in-depth information has come around about each of these. Her family and friends. She was 54, remembered by friends and family after she died in the shooting and the fire. She had served or lived in South Africa in 2011. She loved to decorate and give gifts. These different memorial services, a couple of them took place just this last weekend. Armstrong always had a strong faith, joined the church. Once two missionaries with Jesus Christ on their name tags came to her door, said Armstrong's daughter, Charn Lichtenberg, in her memorial service. It's just, no need for these people to have lost their lives in this way. And
it's terrible tragedy. I don't know what the latest count is on the fundraising for the perpetrator's family.
Yeah.
But to me, that's heartwarming. And I know there were funds set up for some of the victims as well. That's heartwarming. Money is one thing. Of course, it doesn't replace the loss of any of the individuals. And so I hope that the church is also doing all the things in the background to help people deal with this and work through this, which is going to take decades for some people.
Well, and I can't help but think or wonder, and it's a delicate thing that you would want to walk through, but it seems to me that someone either within the church or church adjacent should take up the call to honor all of the people and this incident, right? I was listening, let's get the script to T.C. Christensen about this Michigan chapel and everything that happened there, and let's see that movie come out. And I think that there's something inspirational, certainly from the stories that we've not even heard about, of people helping other people, saving lives, protecting the children, and all of that stuff. I think there's something about that. I think there's something very honoring about the people that passed in this particular circumstance, right? To get to know all of them. The thing that I think is so tricky about it, because I at one point within all of this, I was like, I should try and reach out to someone in conjunction with each of the people who have passed, like their family or descendants or something like that, and be able to do an episode where we go, we are all here remembering Thelma Armstrong. Let's talk about them, and do, even if it was a shorter episode, do something like that. But it's just such a sensitivity where you don't want to be taking advantage.
You don't want to be taking advantage. You don't want to be prying into their lives. You don't want to
Yes.
be making them uncomfortable, and let them work through the grief and the loss on their own terms, right?
But there's something so valuable about hearing all of those stories and about learning about these individual lives, that you don't
Yeah.
just want to let it go and be like, well, let the private things be private. It's just a tricky thing, because I think it has its most impact the more recent it is to the actual incident. But there is that, like you're saying, allowing that space for grief to be able to occur and not disrupting everything. I don't know.
Yep.
I think we're united more as a church now, certainly than we were before that within the United States. I think, you
Hmm.
know, I think there are some residual effects. I've spoken with several people who are like, yeah, I used to not bring my gun into church, and you can bet that I am bringing my gun into church now. In the handbook it
So
says not to. Yeah,
yeah,
yes, I do. I do know that. And guess what? I will be bringing it.
it's interesting. Our stake presidency asked each of the bishops in our stake to take 15 minutes yesterday in Elders Quorum and Relief Society at the beginning, and talk about our approach to emergency plans.
Hmm.
And they talked about fire evacuation, and they talked about tornado issues that we have to deal with here, and they talked about active shooters. And the stake presidency asked the bishops specifically to read that portion of the handbook that talks about handguns, guns of any kind, even
Hmm.
if you have a concealed carry permit, should not be brought to church. And
Yeah.
he stopped and said, and I genuinely ask that you please follow that counsel.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know what that means, and I know there's plenty in ward council. We talked about it a little bit,
Hmm.
and the bishop said, "Here's what I'm going to do," but he said, "I'm feeling like this is a little bit like COVID, where we asked people to act a certain way,
Sure.
and there were a certain percentage that decided they didn't want to follow that counsel, and we had to
Sure.
live with it and deal with it."
Yeah. Yeah. Because
Um,
it's an overstep if you're like, in order to get your temple recommend,
yes,
I need you to adhere to this. Yeah. But
right.
that there will be people that will take it too far, because
There absolutely
there
will be.
always will be.
Yeah. The other side of it is we had a conversation about it in Elders Quorum presidency meeting, because we've been asked now for the next several weeks to provide security in the parking lot, to have a member of the Elders Quorum roaming the parking lot during sacrament meeting and Sunday school. And we talked about I have one of my members of the presidency who's a research scientist. He deals in statistics and numbers.
Hmm.
And he said, well, if it's a 1% chance this may happen at our church, and if it's a 1% chance that any kind of response we have will help in any way, he said 1% times 1% is an infinitesimally small number.
Hmm.
What are the implications of not doing it? And what are the implications of doing it and asking someone not to receive the sacrament on that Sunday? Or asking them not to participate in Elders Quorum or Sunday school that Sunday and get that spiritual enrichment. So I think as a church, we're going to have to figure out that balance. And the hope of our Elders Quorum, the hope of our ward council, I'm sure the hope of our stake is that higher up in the church, they would give some more specific counsel and recommendations.
Yeah.
A little bit unlike they did with COVID, and maybe learn from that experience, that
Sure.
if you can give some specific recommendations, that actually helps everybody.
Yeah. I've already signed up for security for my ward. Sunday, February 8th, I'm gonna take the dive. I'm gonna be all right to be out in the parking lot. I won't be a part of church service. I may have my phone and be watching the Super Bowl pregame, but I took the dive. I said, I'm
Not
more
the
than
Zoom
willing.
link, not the Zoom link for the service.
No, no. I mean, yes, that's what I'll be listening to. That is 100% what I'll be listening to. I'll be keeping people safe as I listen to the
To
pregame
Zoom
of the
sacrament
Super
meeting.
Bowl. You just
There
know
you
that
go.
there's people that are like, oh yeah, what football games that day? They play early. I'll take the 11th. I
Yeah,
got that. I'll
yeah.
go ahead, because that's it.
I'll give those people credit actually for having that amount of forethought. That's
Yeah.
good.
This was news. Former guest of the Cultural Hall, episode number 586, Tad Callister passed away.
He
Uh,
did.
Elder
Yeah.
Callister, age 79. He and his wife, Catherine, were in an episode. They had written a book together. He passed away on October the 9th. Um, During more than a decade of full-time church service, he bore powerful testimony of the witness of the prophet Joseph Smith, restoration of the Lord's church on the earth, the truthfulness of the Book of Mormon, and the atonement of Jesus Christ. His last General Conference address was in 2019. He served as the president of the Canada Toronto East Mission from 2005 to 2008. And he was also the Sunday School General President from 2014 to 2019. So
yeah, I think part of the enduring effect of Elder Callister is going to be the focus on teaching and the focus on quality teaching. The teacher council sessions that we still struggle to have and to organize occasionally, I think are directly from him when he was Sunday school president for the church.
I think it's it's interesting. He was a little bit of a I can't remember the exact thing, but he was a part of an event a few years ago that got a bunch of hubbub because there were some other very conservative groups, and I think the like protest was having Elder Callister, and I think that's what they put like on the program, made it seem like the church was endorsing whatever this particular conservative program was about. I think
it seemed that his
that.
particular feeling about politics and the doctrine of the church would lean more on the Orthodox side. If you looked at the total spectrum.
Yeah. So we may actually rebroadcast that episode because why not?
That'd be a great idea. I'd love that.
Do what we want. We'll do whatever we want. That's how we work here.
Perfect. When are you going to rebroadcast the interview with Elder Nelson?
The posthumous interview that I did. If I was a worse person, I want you to know, just like we did the Pierre Delecto with
Mitt Romney.
With Mitt Romney, there would be a part of me that would have wants to, if people just wouldn't think it was terribly disrespectful, if they could just see it for what it was, which is just, having some fun, I would love to do something like that.
That would be fun. I'm not sure appropriate with President Nelson, but
or
that
with
would be
anyone.
Fun.
There's a certain level I think we can have if we could just say, okay, is this done in good spirits and in a fun way? Can we handle this? But there's certain like levels and certain things within the church that people can't see their way to. I am going to allow myself to be entertained by this. We just go, I'm not gonna do that.
Not going to cross that line. That's absolutely right. We seem to not have any problem with that, or a lot of people don't have any problem with that when it comes to political realms, sports realms, entertainment realms. But you're right. As we think about reverence for the Lord's anointed, it's how we approach that. Now, I would love someday to be roasted personally.
Sure.
I would find that
your wife and I do it
entertaining.
anytime I get to talk to her, but you're talking in a different way.
And that may happen at Chuckarama as well. But yes, I think you're right. I think people are particularly sensitive to taking that kind of approach with general authorities, both sisters and brothers in the church.
Yeah, but I think we have far more allowance for sisters to be the butt end of jokes than for the apostles, for sure.
You're probably true. In fact, I have heard sisters in the church talk more about the appearance of sisters who are in leadership in the church than I've ever heard any brother in the church talk about the appearance of any of the brethren in the general authorities.
Her name is escaping me. Emily
Freeman. Emily Bell Freeman. Yeah.
Someone sent me a text during General Conference because she had that sort of lacy blouse and you could tell she was wearing the new garments. And the person sent me a text and said, I don't want to be garment police, but I'm at my mom's watching General Conference. And I said, well, clearly she's got the new sleeveless
She's
garments.
modeling the new behavior. I love it.
Yeah.
I didn't pay attention to that. I need to start paying more attention at church.
No, you don't. You do not need to be underwear police.
No, not the underwear police. I want to celebrate that women can now wear sleeveless dresses and blouses should they choose.
Yes.
That's a wonderful thing.
I can too.
Yeah. Well,
I can wear both a sleeveless blouse and a sleeveless dress, should I choose to.
I think the handbook specifically talks about, or it used to, I don't know if it still does, talk about cross-dressing.
What?
It used to. I don't know if it still does talk about cross-dressing, males dressed as females.
But we have a rich history of
Even in the
cross-dressing
road
within the
shows,
LDS Church.
even in the road shows, that used to break the handbook every time someone
No,
dressed as someone of
no,
the opposite.
no,
Yes,
no,
it did.
no.
It
Contact
was
theculturalhall.com. Help me out here.
Kurt, come to my rescue, please.
No, because one of Brigham Young's kids.
That doesn't mean it was right and doesn't mean it wasn't in the handbook. I clearly remember reading it in the handbook. Back
Mike,
when we had the two handbooks, the secret handbook and
uh-huh,
the every member can read handbook.
uh-huh.
Yeah,
Which
that
one
was
was it
definitely in
in?
there. I think it was in the secret handbook.
Hold on. Keep jabbing for a second. I want to know. I'm looking something up. So keep jabbering for a second. I want
And
to see if I can.
you are right. There is a long history of doing this in the arts specifically. I think I
Yes.
may have even mentioned it years ago, but one of my favorite things to do when I'm able to be in Europe occasionally, unlike another host of the show,
Uh-huh.
is is to go to the theater in London. And in London, if you go to a particular type of theater, which they call a pantomime, but that includes Peter Pan and lots of other, The Sound of Music and others, they will almost always have the female lead character played by a male and the male lead character played by a female.
Mm-hmm.
And it's thoroughly entertaining and it's part of all the good fun that goes along with that. But I can't remember at what age I was when I realized it was in the handbook. I can't remember if maybe my friends and I thought about dressing up as like uh, Gladys Knight and the Pips or something like that. And
Yeah,
I
because
think we were
the obvious problem there is just the dressing like a woman,
we weren't
not
going to take it
necessarily.
we weren't going to take it beyond beyond the attire.
Okay, good,
um,
good.
but I had a couple of
Hallelujah.
friends that we used to put together little singing groups every once in a while
Okay.
and do little performances at stake youth events. And one time we thought about dressing up in dresses and doing it as females because we all had falsettos that we thought were good at the time, which I'm sure were horrendous in real life. Um, and we were told very clearly, and the handbook was quoted to us, that we could not cross dress at a church event.
Huh. So most of what I can find as I search this, it's like the next level cross-dressing where it's like the social transitioning around transgendered and the
Yeah,
status of
it
the church.
wasn't
That's not
that.
what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it was
Uh,
purely just dressing in a dress.
the one thing that I can kind of find is that it apparently used to be a part of BYU's honor code that you could not cross dress. But if anyone knows more or which handbook or what it used to be or how it read, contact at theculturalhall.com. Certainly there's got to be that person out there.
That reminds me, there was another piece of news at BYU. They announced that they are going to build a new administration building.
Yeah, get out of here, Smoot.
Yeah. So the old ABS, the X-shaped building that was aged when I walked through the halls at BYU in the mid '80s, is going to be replaced. And the renderings look like a beautiful building.
It reminded me Back to the Future 2 when he goes to the future and Biff crashes through the glass in the front of the courthouse.
Yeah.
That's immediately what I thought of when I saw the new
Oh,
administration building at BYU.
you're right. You're right. Absolutely.
And they got to have
Yeah.
a big water feature out front.
Well,
And you
they
got to
do
remember,
currently. The question is the Brigham Young statue going to be moved as a result?
of course, high on the mountain next to the Y. This is the right place.
For a while, that was a kind of controversial statue, if I recall.
Yeah, everything's controversial
Yeah.
for a while.
The other thing that I remember, if you looked at it in a certain light, it looked like Brigham Young was dancing as
Oh,
well.
yeah?
Mm-hmm.
I think he would be.
Yeah.
Dancing with his cross-dressed son. That's what
That's right.
to
That's
bring it
right.
all around as we put a bow on this thing. BYU, are they going to take it or are they going to choke like they always do? What are we thinking?
My prediction is BYU is going to win by 3.
Okay. In Vegas, Utes, at least at this moment, favored to win by 3.
Yeah, it's going to be an ugly game. It's going to be it's going to be disappointing for everyone involved. Everyone's going to blame the refs for bad calls.
Yep.
And we're going to win by 3.
Part of me just hopes it's a blowout for BYU. We haven't
Wouldn't
had a
that be
good one of those
awesome?
in a long time. Just
Not
like a
since the
routing,
80s. Not since
terrible
the yeah.
blowout.
Yeah.
It won't be.
Yeah, it won't be. When I was in the MTC, it was one of the best days of my life in the MTC is when BYU blew out the University of Utah, and the rest of my entire district were Utah fans. It was great.
All right. Well, good luck. Thanks for taking a bit. You can go back into the trees if you need a moment.
Happy to do it. We'll look forward to seeing everyone on Thursday the 23rd. I am totally jazzed to see some of our regulars, and I don't know if you mentioned it. We're going to be taking questions. Ask us anything. Think of good, fun, hard questions to ask us, and see if you can trip Richie and I and others up.
Yeah, can be situational questions too, if you'd like. Hey, what do you do in a situation like this? That's something I've wanted to lean into a little bit more.
Yeah.
So it can literally be whatever you'd like, or it can be, Richie, you said this one time. That doesn't seem very whatever. Okay, great. Let's talk about that.
Or Verlin, have you ever had a problem with this thing, or how do you deal with that thing? Happy to. You won't embarrass me no matter what you ask.
Yep. Well, we'll see. I accept your challenge. Contact at theculturalhall.com. Thursday, the 23rd of October at the Salt Lake City Check-A-Rama, 744 East, 400 South. We will see you guys there. There will be many episodes between now and then. Hope that this episode has nourished and strengthened your body.
And if you weren't healthy enough to listen this week, you'll be healthy enough to listen next week.
And that when the time comes, you will be able to travel home in safety. In the meantime, go Tar Heels! Chris at Alpine Lakes Travel, Debbie Wanless, Chocolate Cake Bites Podcast, and the Tiger with a U will be saving a seat for you
on the back row of the Cultural Hall.
Save me a seat, it's sure to be neat on the back row. We really gotta